Hi everyone, it's Sarah from Plan Sarah Plan, and welcome to my plan with me for September 1st through the 7th. September, oh my goodness, we are here, and it just seems like it just turned 2025 for some reason. To me, I don't know, but welcome everyone to my channel. I am so glad you're here. My name is Sarah. I am getting over the flu, so my voice is a little bit rough, but I'm feeling good enough to have a nice planning session. I started using the dashboard layout in July, and I have really grown to almost prefer it to the vertical, but I still like the vertical a great deal. And I have a lot of people in my audience who use the vertical and prefer it. So I'm going to plan in both of these planners, and I normally start with the dashboard, but just to kind of change things up, why don't we start with the vertical this week? I'm going to be working in an Erin Condren, two Erin Condrens, and decorating with a sticker kit from my shop called Artsy Life. So the vertical kit has this special box, some date covers. This is a freebie that's in both of the kits. Washi strips, event labels, and full boxes. And this will be the first week of piano lessons for me, back to school with a new year. And I've been teaching piano forever. I should figure out exactly how many years I've been teaching, because that would be relevant. But I know it's a long time. It is a long time. So this is a little bit of a back to school theme for me. And I will be teaching 4 days a week, but with a slightly reduced schedule compared to last year. I had 19 students last year, and that was scaling it back from 24. 24 was scaling it back from 30. 30 was scaling it back from almost 50 at one point. I taught so many piano lessons that I was literally, it was a full-time job, literally. Now it is a part-time job, and I'm doing that intentionally because piano students have the potential to stay with you if they start young enough for up to 12 years. And so I have to think 12 years out. And I decided last year that I was no longer going to be accepting new students. I am, of course, reserving the right to teach my own grandchildren. And I would love it if they were able to work alongside some of my older students once they are old enough to start taking piano lessons, if they show an inclination for that. But my schedule the last several years has just been Tuesday through Friday. A full schedule would be 6 students on each of these days. What I have this year is 6 students on Wednesday and Thursday, 4 students on Friday, and only 1 student on Tuesday, for a grand total of 7 students. And what I'm going to do is use my Erin Condren dual tip marker, fine tip, and just write piano on 4 of these event labels. And now I'm going to place them on top of these full boxes. This looks very homogeneous, like I've got the same hours every day, and obviously I don't, since I only have 1 student on Tuesday. These 2 are the more normal, or what I'm used to, days with 6 students. And so I am going to have a little bit more free time on my hands this year. Not a lot more, but enough more that I think I will feel it. And that's a good thing, because as you can tell, I have some other jobs, like I'm a YouTuber, and I have an Etsy shop. And I am a grandmother who loves to say yes to babysitting every chance that I get. So piano is actually one of several jobs that I have. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is take the date stickers that correspond to this week and move them over onto these date covers. Just like that. And a job that I did not mention, which I definitely should have, is that I also compose piano music. And my job as a composer is that I write music that hopefully inspires late elementary early intermediate level students, sometimes more difficult than that, to practice piano. And we all know stories of people who took piano lessons and hated it because they didn't want to practice, they thought it was too hard, or they did not like the music. That is an ages old story. It is something that is so common. It's even common among professional musicians. Like, they themselves did not want to maybe take lessons in their instrument necessarily, even though they ended up choosing music as a profession. And I'm no exception. I always wanted to quit piano lessons. But in my capacity as a composer, it's my goal to compose music that delights. And so I am in the midst right now, hopefully beyond in the midst, really, coming close to the end stages of composing a new collection that is going to be an easy version of one of my existing collections. So I have these books called Backyard Bash. I have a volume 1 and a volume 2. And I had a few requests from teachers to write an even easier version of Backyard Bash. And I have written 9 of the songs or pieces, but they're songs because they have words, that will go in this new collection. And my goal is to have that collection finished by September 9th. And my publisher is Piano Pronto, so you can look that up online. I am going to hopefully have that published by Piano Pronto before too long, after turning the whole thing in. But there are always some edits and things that need to be made. But hopefully it will not be long after I get the pieces written that the collection will actually come out and piano teachers can start getting it for their students. All right, I am going to put my memory verse over here in the sidebar. Let's do Mom Day next, because I help my mom with things 3 days a week. And I believe I normally do use these kind of medium size or half boxes for Mom Day. And I'm just going to write Mom Day. Here, here, and here. And a recent goal of mine the last couple of months has been to try to get to Mom earlier than I used to. So normally I have work to do before I leave the house and go see Mom. And she, though, is at her best when I can get to her a little bit earlier. And I think she enjoys it more. So I'm doing my best to get over to see her a little earlier. So I'm scooting this up a little higher than I used to. And this week we get to have our monthly manicure and pedicure on Wednesday. It's normally Monday, but that is a holiday. So we are going to, I'm just putting these stickers that say manicure and pedicure. We are going to have fun getting pampered on Wednesday. When I did my monthly set up plan with me, I decided that on Monday, even though that is a holiday, my husband's off work, but I need to, because piano starts the very next day. I'm going to do what I'm calling a studio makeover on Monday, just cleaning up my teaching space and getting it ready for the year. And I'd like to use I was thinking one of these half boxes, but truthfully, I had to use one of the bigger ones. And I already used the magenta here for Mom Day. So let's use the blue one and just make a sticker that says Studio Makeover. And I can fill in exactly what I want to do. Basic cleaning is what it's going to involve, but a little bit of organization of my teaching materials too. And I'm just centering it here in the rest of the day after Mom Day. Sunday, I'm playing piano in church, so I'm going to use my little church sticker here and put it on one of these half boxes and just write piano in church or at church. Here we go. I play piano once a month for church. 2 birthdays this week. One is my sister, and I think just right up here above the date is a good place for that. And one is my very good friend Lisa. Hi Lisa. I know you're probably not going to see this. Now, since I'm going to get my nails done on Wednesday, I think before that I could pick up Mom and we could run the car through the car wash, and I'll do like a little vacuuming. That's what I call car care day. And let's just put that right ahead of the mani and pedi. I gas up the car, throw out the trash, and vacuum it, run it through the car wash. That's what car care day is. One of our grandbabies is going to be 13 months old on Tuesday. And you know what? MS is not at all the abbreviation for months. So should I redo that sticker or just go with it? I don't know. You'll have to tell me. I think I'm probably just going to live with it. Let's don't be perfectionists. You know what? I just glanced over and saw the piano on this freebie sheet, and I think on the studio makeover, I need to put the piano somewhere. Like, this is perfect right here. Love that. I've got my PowerSheets right beside me because I use them whenever I'm doing my monthly setup plan with me. And one of the things that I probably ought to do is bring my weekly action items or rhythms over onto this spread so that they complement each other. There are 6 of them, and I have 6 spaces in this to-do list. I'm not sure where I will place it. I could put it here if there is enough room after the memory verse, but I can at least write them down and then we'll decide where to place them. So I'm using the term zero out just because to me it's fun. You know how you zero out your inbox, your email inbox? I like to think of zeroing out the laundry. Like, I know laundry is never over, but I want to reach a point once a week where it's all done, at least for a moment. I want to clean my floors once a week, especially on the main floor. I don't have to clean the floors all over the house every week. Zero out the table. It's a catch-all, the kitchen table, and I just want to just at least for a moment every week have nothing on it. Same thing with the kitchen counters, same thing with Etsy orders, although that one's the hardest to do. And film and edit a plan with me. So I normally will put a to-do list on Monday and Saturday. This would work. Honestly, I could just put it over here and keep it on my mind. Another idea is over here. I kind of like that too because it looks like it's a Saturday item that way. Let's do this and then hope that I have enough room for my memory verse above that. I think I will. It's not super long. Okay. Tuesday and Thursday are days where I don't necessarily leave the house. Those are days where I might possibly get called on to babysit if I am all well. Then I will say yes to that most likely. But in the event that it's not the entire day before piano, what I want to do is dedicate Tuesday and Thursday to specific things. Tuesday, working on my goals. Thursday, filming. And so I'm using this as like a time blocking mechanism. If this top box represents morning and the middle box represents early to mid-afternoon. So I have several goals in progress. The Easy Backyard Bash is the one that has the closest deadline on the 9th. So on my goal day, I think I'm going to make that Easy Backyard Bash day, and I will use this sticker. Likewise, for Thursday, I'm going to use, I could use the same one and make it matchy-matchy. Let's do that. That's just going to be filming and editing my plan with me. And we are going to put them on top of those long washi strips like this. And I talked about this a few videos back. I have found that if I just sit at work, I mean, it doesn't have to be sitting, but like nose to the grindstone, hours on end on a single project, I am more likely to get something done on that goal than if I hack away at little by little. Although I do have to hack away at things little by little all the time. I'm going to devote this to like a really intense session on Backyard Bash. Okay, now this is a little bit vague, but what I want to do now is have a catch-up day because this will be the first week of piano and who knows what may not go exactly according to plan. So I want to have a catch-up day on Saturday, and I think this half box is the right size. And you know what? If everything does go according to plan, maybe I will just use that as a fun time, free time. Let's put these thick washi strips down at the bottom of the page, and that pattern is very close to this one, so I'm going to move this over here and use the other one on the left page. We could put this big flower there. I like that a lot. Handy scraper, and these are linked in the video description. And that's all I'm going to put on here for now. So I have extra stickers. I could stretch this and make it go for 2 weeks if I needed to. And I have some flags up here. It is lesson 1, and normally I will put a little flag, at least just a number, up here, but I've already used my 1 there. So let's dig into the old numbers. I have saved so many of these that I should never have any trouble finding the number that I need. And here's a Boulder Bond 1. Let's use that. It's got a pink background and that should match just fine. I can either just put it there or use one of these. That's what I'm going to do. I like this. Put it on a flag. And right there. I'm going to move these over here because, true to form, I'm going to cut out these and put them in my leftover numbers. And I just use a sticker storage book that has a bunch of sleeves in it. That used to be something that Erin Condren offered. They don't now. So I have a couple of backups that I picked up during a warehouse sale so that when this goes kaput, I will have more that I can use, but I wish that they still offered those. I'll throw this away now, and we're going to go to my dashboard planner where I keep my memory verses and then write that in the sidebar. This week's verse is Colossians chapter 1, verse 13. For he has rescued us from the dominion of darkness and brought us into the kingdom of the Son he loves. Here's a slow motion flyover of the vertical spread, all finished, and of course I can add to this as needed. And we're set to go on to the dashboard. All right, I'm going to work on the schedule side first, and I will tell you a little story. Or no, it's not a story. It's just like conversation. We'll chat about something. So I like to do laundry while I am filming. And my filming area is in a room in my basement that I call the Planner Castle. And our washroom with the laundry area is also in the basement. So it's very convenient for me to work on these things at the same time. So when I am sick, I go through more towels than at other times because I want to wash the towels more frequently. I want to keep from spreading germs, and I'm always wiping up the countertops and things in the bathroom and then just wanting to throw the towel in the washing machine just in case there are any germs that might spread. And so I have a whole lot of bath towels to wash. And sometimes I like to make things that seem overwhelming easier by kind of giving myself new parameters that aren't the usual. So today I decided, instead of just throwing all of the bath towels, hand towels, and washcloths all in together like I normally do, I would wash only the bath towels. And that way, when they are dry and I'm pulling them out of the dryer, I can fold them and just have this nice tidy stack of all the same size towels. And then in a separate load, which I started just now, after I finished the vertical, I wash the other things like the hand towels and the washcloths. And then the same thing will be true when those are all dry. Then I'll have these nice tidy stacks of same size hand towels and washcloths. And I have done things like that throughout my life at different times, either because I was sick like this time, or I was just overwhelmed and busy and things got behind. And so sometimes I'll give myself it's almost like a game, but it's like giving myself a little rule or a parameter. Today we're going to wash only pants. Or this load, even though I could do all darks and have darks, pants and tops together, socks, whatever, I would have maybe a rule that says, okay, this is pants day. We're just doing pants. And that helps me feel less overwhelmed. So anyway, I'm doing that right now with my towels. The clothes are not like really behind or anything. We're moving over to September now, so I've got an August to spare. These stickers, if you want them, are in my shop, and I also have a color version. Last week I put my August over here. Let's do one right in the middle for fun this time. Stagger them, do them a little bit differently each time. I love these colors, by the way. So I play games like that with myself and kind of enjoy it. It makes the mundane a little bit more enjoyable, a little bit more unexpected, not humdrum. Now I'm going to change this. If you haven't seen me do this before, I don't go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because that confuses me. I go this way: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday over here. And I like my memory verse down in this box, but I don't like writing in that box. It's very awkward. So I write it on a sticker and then place the sticker. So do you have any tricks like that for things like laundry or housework, or maybe just work in general? It could be office work. It could be any kind of work where you kind of give yourself some exceptions, different parameters than usual, and that makes it more manageable. Sometimes I will do that with cleaning. Like, instead of saying, I'm going to clean this entire room, I will say to myself, Sarah, let's clean this corner or this one table, and that's it. And maybe even give myself the instruction that I'm not allowed to clean anything else, and that alleviates some of the pressure. And that might sound silly, but to me it helps. So do you have any tricks like that? Another one, I'm just going to throw all my tricks out there. I do what I call a circuit, where I will take a clipboard or a notebook or just a pad of paper, and I will go around to a certain number of rooms, maybe the whole house, but usually it's like, 3 or 4 rooms, something like that. And I will write down one thing, and it has to be easy, like an under 5-minute thing that I want to clean in each room. So when I walk through the kitchen, it might be the big bowl on the counter, and that's all I write down. That. And then I go to the next room. Maybe it is the bathroom, and I will write down one thing, such as, I did not do a good job there. The one thing might be the towel on the floor. Very easy little jobs. And I go to the next room, and maybe it is that a bunch of books are just spread out all over the place and they need to be stacked up. So whatever the one thing is, I go around to each of those rooms. I guess it could be an area too. It doesn't have to be a room. It could be like different parts of a big room or some other way of categorizing the space. And so I go around and I complete that one task in each room. And when I've done that, I call it level 1. So I level up to level 2, and I'm going to cut this thing off where I messed up. And I've got a little ceramic blade here I can do that with. I don't like how that looks. So I level up to level 2 then, and go around the same way and write one other new thing on the list. And then, so I've got these different rooms. Like, I should show you what it looks like on the paper, but basically you could even use this as an analogy. This could be bedroom, living room, dining room, bathroom, etc. So I've got different areas. So after I've done level 1, I go in and do level 2 the exact same way. And each item has to be easy enough that you can do it in very little time, like a minute to 5 minutes. Otherwise, it does not help you with your overwhelm. But what it does do is give you, after you've done even level 1, you might start to feel a little better. But definitely after you've done level 2 or 3, you think, you know, this isn't so bad. This isn't so bad. And you've done a little thing in each one of the rooms so that each room is improved a little bit with each level. So I've given you 3 tricks now, haven't I? Another one. You want another trick? Just thought of another one. Timer. Setting a timer. I will say that I'm going to clean house for 30 minutes. Or I'm going to clean this room for 30 minutes. Or I'm going to work on this project for 30 minutes. And I set a timer. And if 30 minutes is too daunting, I make it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is that works for me. All right, let's put the birthdays down first. And I think I'm just going to put them right beside the date. There were 2 birthdays this week. And when I write on my dashboard layout, I put events on stickers and other things that can be done any time of the day. I have been just writing directly on the page. So on Monday, I have mom. It's not really an appointment, but it's mom day, and it's roughly 10 to 1 o'clock. But I think instead of giving that an appointment label, I am going to just write it on the page. And I also have my big studio makeover for the rest of the day. On Tuesday, baby boy is going to be 13 months old. I mean, that's not like a birthday, but it's fun to keep track of those things. So I'm going to do a little call out with this sticker and just write it on here. And this is going to be Backyard Bash Goal Day. I'm going to be working on composing songs for Easy Backyard Bash most of the day. And I will have that one lone piano lesson. And that one is at, I need to check, it's either at 4:30 or 5. So I won't put the time. I will just write piano on whatever I use for this one. I'm going to use for the others. Let's use these little ones for piano this time. 4 days of piano lessons. So I'm just going to put it right here. It's later in the day, so let's put it lower, because I'm not going to do much of anything after that. Okay. And then on Wednesday, Mom and I get to have our manicure. It is Mom Day. We're going to do our manicure, and we're going to do car care day as well. So let's write Mom Day and then put some stickers with that. I'm overlapping these a little bit so they don't take up as much room. And then I also have piano in the afternoon. So I'm going to put that one on the bottom checklist, and I'm leaving intentionally one line blank at the end of each day because that helps me to make sense of where these days are. And I will sometimes actually draw a boundary around the entire day because that helps me. Then on Thursday, I'm going to do filming and editing a plan with me. I'm also going to have piano. So for the plan with me, no sticker. And for piano lessons, one of these little ones. Okay, and then Friday, it is a mom day, so that'll go here. And piano lessons, the last part of the day. Saturday is what I'm calling my catch-up day, so I'll just write that here. Sunday, I'm going to be playing piano in church, and that does have a time, so we'll give it an event label. And probably a big one. I rarely use these. I haven't really used them yet. Should I use green? There's already a green here, or make it colorful. I'm feeling blue because the church sticker is blue. And here's what we're going to do. The little trick. I'll get my tweezers so my hand doesn't block what I'm doing, in case you haven't seen this yet. I did not invent this trick. Someone told me about it, and they credited plan with Elise. Okay. So we'll put piano at, and then the sticker. Okay. It's lesson 1, so let's go ahead and get out those older numbers again. Here's a Mama Gloria shop where I didn't use any of the numbers, it looks like. And it's pink, and I liked the look of that. These are all a little bit different than the vertical kit, but I think I'm just going to go with this little flag right here. And I don't have a system yet for where I want to do this. It could be up here in the corner, but this looks kind of neat, doesn't it? Let's put it right there, and then we can change it up another time. All right, the only other thing that goes on this page is the memory verse, and that's going to go on this sticker. We're going to come back to that though and flip over to the dashboard side of this spread. Let's do a little decorating and just setting up the system first of all. So I'm covering up where it says notes and just taking a divider and putting it all the way across. And then I want to put in some deco as well as the little flag that says notes. So that little flag looks like this, and we could just put it right there. But since it's the first week of piano, we could do this, or we could do this for Artsy Life. Let's do that for Artsy Life, the name of the kit, and then maybe I will find a place for the piano back on the calendar page. I love that. Okay. And then for the to-do, we've got this, as well as some checklists to put underneath it. So it looks like I put my easel up where that goes, but that's okay. I can probably reposition this. Yeah, let's do that. And I can move my to-do down just a little bit too. I like that better. And one more checklist. Okay, and then we're going to come up here for the priorities and this, and maybe do a little bit of deco. Now here's something I haven't done yet. I could use 2 of these full boxes and then put one habit or one kind of thought that I want to keep present on each one. So why don't we do that? Let's use 2 that are different, like these 2 are the most different. And they're not habits, so I'm going to take this. I mean, they could be habits actually. Maybe that I'm speaking too soon. Maybe they are going to be habits, but what I'm thinking is just thoughts. Things I don't want to forget. Possibly habits. Because I do have a habit of the month. I could put that up here. I'm thinking out loud as I film. All right, we're going to add to that some event labels. Probably this size would be nice. So my habit of the month is, now that piano is starting, to get my lesson notes done in the last 2 to 3 minutes of the lesson instead of waiting until the student leaves, because I can actually go over their assignment with them that way. And the other thing that I want to keep trying to do, that I did put up here last time, I think, was to visit mom early. Okay, my R is a little giant, but that's going to be okay. And we will just put these with the decorative boxes, dress them up. So this is not anything that I need to check off. It's just something that I want to remember to do throughout this week. And then priorities will be, well, I could use a tracker if I wanted to, but I'm not much into doing tracking. So let's do this box, and I have a header that goes with that. Go like that, and put the header here. Okay, I know my number 1 priority is finishing Easy Backyard Bash, but what I want to do, instead of just writing that right off the bat, is do some brainstorming of my to-dos and pull over my to-dos from my vertical, this list here. And that is my weekly actions from my PowerSheets, basically. But I'm going to add to that since we have more to-do space. Okay, so priorities. It is the first week of piano. I want to finish Backyard Bash, and I want to get my lessons done in the notes done in the last 2 or 3 minutes of the lesson. But it is a piano important week, so let's go ahead and put a piano in here, and then we'll put the priorities. It might just be 2. And it's time for a Sharpie creative marker. These are the earth tones, and this nice purple here might be a nice one to do. Actually, there's a purple piano book on the piano, so let's use this for our bullet point. So Easy Backyard Bash and successful first week. How's that? That's positive and not overwhelming. Okay. Not quite the same size, are they? I love that. And it is just kind of encouraging and not too overwhelming. This stuff right here, when I keep my planner with me most of the time, I love filling this out with things that happen, whether it's a cute thing or a grateful thing or just something I want to make note of. I love having this space for writing throughout the week. So I don't put anything there until the week gets underway. All right, let's write the memory verse next. I'm going to use this lined large box, and I'm pulling out my notes tab. That seems to be the one that levels this out this month. And we're going to flip back to this page. And we already did this in the vertical, but it'll be the same verse and just written in a different spot. For he has rescued us from the dominion of darkness and brought us into the kingdom of the Son he loves. Colossians 1:13. Here's a slow motion flyover of the dashboard layout. All of the same information, more or less, but presented differently. So you'll have to let me know which one works best for you and the way you think. All right, so what I like to do at the end of my weekly plan with me is say a prayer. And I've written a new prayer for the month of September, which I will pray at the end of my weekly plan with me's. And I invite you to join me if you would like to. Heavenly Father, we join in prayer to lift up our plans to you. Refine, revise, remove, and replace anything as you see fit. Guide our steps, make our way plain, and go with us in all we do. Thank you for this time set aside for planning. Thank you for the challenges as well as the eagerly anticipated moments. Help us to be good stewards of our time and energy so that we do what is most important with gratitude and joy. Bless our week with work to do, help to do it, and contentment that comes from having done our best. Give us restful nights and quiet mornings so that thoughts of you begin and end our days. Forgive us where we have sinned against you, and give us gracious hearts to forgive others readily. Remind us of the privilege of belonging to you as your beloved children. Give us tender words for little ones in our care, as well as for the older ones we may be looking after. Allow us to bring order where there is chaos, kindness where there is worry, encouragement where there is pain. Look after the ones we hold most dear, and make us examples of patience, endurance, and humility. May we open our eyes to the beauty around us and thank you for every gift we enjoy. In matters beyond our control, we ask that the wrong would fail and the right would prevail. In Jesus' name, amen. Let's take one last look of both spreads, or at both spreads. So we have the vertical here, and this theme was called Artsy Life, and the dashboard here. So they both have their advantages, in my opinion, but I am getting really used to this dashboard layout and to being able to write in it as I go through the week. But at the same time, I can write things in my vertical as well, like I always did before. I could make notes, additional things. I could even put more to-dos on here in different areas if I wanted to. But you'll have to let me know which one's your favorite or if it's a tie. And I hope the week ahead is a great one for you. Thank you so much for spending time with me here. If you don't mind giving my video a thumbs up, I would so appreciate it. That helps it get out there somehow. And I guess I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.